Just two dudes having a conversation. You're my friend and I trust you.
Welcome back again to the podcast.
Yet another episode of You're My Friend and I Trust You.
We're here.
Yes, we are.
This was my coming at you on a Thursday earlier evening.
It's 5:42.
This whole week has been screwed up for me.
This is your last week at your church job.
This is my last day in the office full time.
Really?
Yep.
What's tomorrow? You in
Friday.
tomorrow?
I got a funeral that I got to cover, but
That's it?
Yeah, that's
So
it.
just in that thing in the or it's in the morning, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of like late morning.
Huh.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, it is like my last day, but it's not really because I'm still kind of working there,
Right.
in a part-time.
And they're gonna like kind of keep pulling you in for like whenever they have questions or anything about how something goes. And
Right.
like I was just thinking today, there's so many little, like so much little stuff that I still feel has not been completely communicated with everybody. Like yesterday at practice, nobody will care or understand about this, but like we play to clicks, and the person that set up the clicks, normally you do that, the backing tracks, and they didn't subdivide the click. So like a song, instead of being like 1, 2, 3, 4, it was like 1, 2, 3, 4. So it was like halved, which is harder to play with.
Yes, it is. And it just feels slow. Like,
Yeah. And then especially if it's a slower song and the click's only coming in like, then it's very easy to get off if you're not seasoned to a click.
Yeah, so there's a lot of little things like that that I'm sure I will be summoned about.
Yeah.
So, which it's what it is.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just to be expected, but I don't know. I feel like eventually people are just going to get the hang of it, or somebody new will transition in and it'll just be their job to have to learn all that stuff.
Right. You figure it out now.
This is off my shoulders.
That's what I was showing one of our sound guys yesterday, like kind of the framework of the sound system, because it's really a very just kind of put together.
There's a lot of little pieces that make the whole.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not all linear.
Right. Like I was explaining, we basically have 3 for any audio people, or I guess non-audio people. Anytime you want to play like a guitar through a sound system, like there's a lot that goes into it, and like what plugs into what that goes to the board that then goes to the speakers is what you hear. And
it's not just straight from the guitar into the board out the speakers. It's from the guitar to something, then to the board, then out the speakers.
Right. And like those little pieces in between, they're called snakes usually, and they'll have numbers on them to help you know what's what, which is great. But we technically have 3 snakes on stage. And so you can only have one number 1 at the board. And so I was like trying to explain how like 12 up here is actually like 23 on the board, because
and that's something that you can explain, but will not be remembered.
Exactly. Exactly. So we'll see how it goes. I think the first weekend that I will not be there would be the 30th of June. So the last weekend in June.
Gotcha. I see you got all the stuff, or you're working on getting all the stuff from your office.
Yeah.
In here. Are you bummed about losing an office? Like you don't have your office anymore?
Yes and no. I mean, obviously it was nice to be able to keep some stuff at, but I also don't necessarily like being in an office all day. So I don't know. So yes and no.
What did you not like about being in an office all day?
I think part of it is just like you're sitting there, and especially in the job that I had, it was so inconsistent on how busy you were.
Mm-hmm.
It all depended on the time of year or what the church was doing. And so, for instance, at the end of the year, during the holidays, it is
You're slammed.
mayhem.
Yeah.
And so, like, really, I'm not in my office a whole lot. I'm like in the sanctuary doing stuff to get ready for the Christmas season and whatnot. But then, like, this time of year is the slowest because you're past Easter. It kind of church cycles is to start the year. Usually, the first week of the year is your kind of big kickoff vision for the year, and so you work to plan that. But then you're also working on Easter because Easter comes in either late March or early April usually. And so you're working on that, which Easter's kind of one of the big things. But then you hit summertime and everyone's gone. And so you kind of, get a little bored. Usually you'll have like a VBS, which
Boo.
Yeah. Which for the past few years, we've had to play music for, which I've never understood. But anyway,
kids don't care.
Yeah,
they're too
don't.
young to care about.
They would rather just
live
have
worship.
a band or not a band, a recorded band. Anyway, but so sometimes, like, luckily the past few years we've been doing church camp, and so we'd be doing that over the summer. But that was more fun than like stressful.
Yeah.
But then as soon as fall hits, you do a fall kickoff, which because everybody's like back. And so you build up to that, but then you have Christmas Eve on your mind.
Yeah.
And Christmas Eve is like the Super Bowl of church. And so you're pretty much the entire holiday season is dedicated to that, and then like other random things that you do throughout the fall. So summertime's like the least busy, and so now's the time at work where I'm just kind of bored.
Did you find yourself in the slower months, like kind of just sitting like I really don't know, shutting off the
Vaping.
Yeah, we're vaping in here. What is that? Oh, diffuser. Shutting it off. Did you find yourself kind of like just sitting in your office like I don't really have anything to do, but I need to appear busy?
There's times, that happens.
I think that is the worst.
Yeah, I hate that. Because like this new job I'm going to, like there's always going to be something to do, which I like because it makes the day go quicker.
Right.
Like if I'm not doing the material handling side, like there's basically a section of the shop that I forget what it's called, but you're basically cutting down some boards. It's kind of like a general thing that if I have time, I can go do. So like I'll have stuff to do, which I'm looking forward to.
Nice. And you start that on Monday.
On Monday, which I guess if you're listening to this right now, you're at work.
Potentially at work right now.
Depending.
Huh.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this right now, maybe send out some positive vibes.
Yes. Because I
help them get through the day.
am going to probably have information overload.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's...
Did we talk about that on podcast or was that in person that we were talking about?
I don't remember.
Because you were saying like, I think I said to you, like, if you can just get through like the first month, like with every single new job I've had, if you can just get through that first month where they're like piling on information and you're like learning and making mistakes and like you don't really know anybody and you're building those new work relationships, if you can just get through that first month, then you're fine.
Yeah.
If you can do anything for a month, you can do it forever.
Yeah. That's very true. Very true.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm kind of preparing myself for. It's just, it'll be different and just learning all the little nuances. Cause like, even though like the job roughly I've done before, every company has little things they do differently, and like knowing all of that, and then
try working for 5 different companies at once.
It's true. Yeah, but it'll be good. It'll be nice to take a step towards what our new normal will be.
Yeah.
Even though it won't really be that quite yet,
Mm.
being that I'm still working at the church technically.
Right. I'm still super stoked for you though, that you're entering this new season of your life, and I feel like it's going to be an exciting time. And
yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's what I was telling Allie, like, this has been a really long process for us that we've been talking about it, and like, hasn't been the easiest thing. And like I always pray, I think I've said this before, open and closed doors, like that, whatever, but also like, I think God gives us what we need. Mm-hmm. Maybe sometimes it's not necessarily what we want. Right. Because there were a lot of jobs that I wanted really bad that I did not get. Yeah. That I felt like I need this. Mm-hmm. And, this job that I'm going into, I think I've said this before, like I'm actually making a little bit less, but it's what we need. Right. And it's the schedule that we needed. Mm-hmm.
There's room to grow.
There's room to grow. And really actually per hour, I'm probably making about the same. I'm just working less hours.
Gotcha.
So it was kind of cool. Like when I sat back and thought about it, I was like, yeah, we got what we needed.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Oh man, I feel like I was going to say something about that, but I forget. It's gone. It's gone from my brain.
Too much vape,
I remember.
Bro.
Too much what?
Vape, bro.
Just ripping fat clouds in here on the podcast, man. Ripping fat clouds. I'm so glad that neither one of us vape.
Yeah, I know.
I couldn't hang out with you if you vaped.
Did you not at one point?
No, I never did. I have like ripped other people's vapes before. I've taken hits off of other people's vapes, and I could see myself enjoying it, but like all the research about like the popcorn lung and stuff, I just can't do it. It's just not for me. Plus, none of that is FDA approved.
I will say, I won't say who it was. It was you and someone else. We were together.
Okay.
And
I know.
Yeah.
I was hitting pretty hard.
I was judging you both so hardcore. I was like, these douches.
I will say I didn't not like it. Mm-hmm. I did enjoy it, but I'm not going to go out and put money into that.
Yeah. And then get popcorn lung.
Popcorn
moldy lungs.
Yeah. I also remember what I was going to say, talking about like having kind of like a normal schedule. And with that, you're going to be able to do things like go on some longer vacations and stuff. And Emily, who's actually here at your house right now.
Yes, if you hear people talking in the background faintly.
Yeah, it's Emily and Allie.
My wife and your fiance.
Soon to be wife.
Yeah. Is that weird yet?
Not really. Okay. I think it never was like, oh, fiance. I can't even comprehend. It was just like, okay, she's my fiance. Hasn't really registered. And then like I skipped like the wow. And it's just like, yeah, she's my fiance.
It was weird for me, like when it was like, oh yeah, my wife. Like when I'm talking to someone else.
Oh, I'm sure it'll get to that point. Weird. Yeah. I'm sure when we're married and I'm like, my wife, because that's just my wife. It's just
can't even say it without joking right now. Sorry, I interrupted your train of thought.
But we were we booked our honeymoon. At some point last week, we're going to Pigeon Forge. We rented a really sick cabin. And I've just been saying, like, babe, I cannot wait for our honeymoon, not for sex reasons. Yeah, sure, that's going to be a great...
Not looking forward to that.
That's going to be a great bonus. But just to... Because I love just traveling with her, because we've traveled before, and just, like, being places with her is awesome. So just, I know that, and we hang out really well together, if that makes sense. Like, we just really enjoy each other's company, and we are able to... make a lot out of a little. Like if all we have is like a car and we're traveling somewhere, and like we have car and a phone with radio or an internet connection, we can have a blast with that. So just being on vacation with her in Pigeon Forge, doing all that stuff, I cannot wait for. And then we started talking, we've been saying this forever, how we cannot wait to go on vacation with you and Allie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, let's book a cruise. Let's go on a cruise together.
Yeah. Or even just like hey, we're going to go away out for a weekend. You guys
I know.
Like, little things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I cannot wait for. I think I'm excited that you guys are married and not yet with child.
Yeah.
Because we can be married together. You know what I mean? And like
Right.
do couple things together.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for that because I'm kind of bummed that like when I get married, I'm going to have to like kind of say goodbye to like the just me hanging out with my friends sort of thing. Like I'll still do that, but
it changes.
Yeah, I just won't be able to do it as much.
Yeah. And like that was a hard thing, I guess, is like Allie and I kind of went through a little bit. Not necessarily that per se. I mean, it is like now, like it isn't a slam against Allie or anything, but like I don't do things that I would do if I would like spending my time. My time is now different, I guess. Like the value of it is different. And that's not like saying you're not as valuable to me as, well, my wife.
Right.
But like,
it's kind of like when you're dating, it's like, okay, on Friday and Saturday, I'm hanging out with you. And then like the rest of my time is kind of open to do what I please. Now it just kind of reverses to be like, now all my time is spent with you. And if it fits into the schedule, I will hang out with other people here and here.
Right.
And that might not be like, it might be 2 months in between
right.
when those things can happen.
Yeah.
So,
and too, like it is really hard, like to find like other, I don't want to say like make friends when you're married, but like that's kind of, I guess, what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like new friends.
Yeah.
Like you and I have been friends since before I was married.
Yeah.
And so like, I think our friendship changed when I got married, but I don't think it got like worse or anything. But like that was one that just kind of like stayed through.
Yeah.
But like now, like Allie and I, like especially other married couples who are in the same life stage that don't have kids and whatnot. Because like, don't get me wrong, I love kids, and like someday we'll have them and it'll be great. But like kids also change things a lot, probably more so than just getting married.
Oh yeah, forget 2 months. Now it's like 6.
Right. It's like
a full year before you see your friends.
Yeah. And so a lot of couples, at least in the area that we have made contact, like all have kids. And so like doing stuff is different. So yeah, but what's also nice, like once you're married, like you just kind of have a built-in friend.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
you don't ever have to really do anything alone anymore.
Yeah.
So
I think it will be weird for me because I'm just like a very like spur of the moment type guy. Like I feel like doing this today. I didn't know I was going to do this when I woke up, but now I feel like doing it. I'm going to go do it. So that I have to kind of calm that sort of spontaneity, which I'm kind of bummed about. But I mean, for what I'm gaining out of having to like say goodbye to that part of me, I think is worth it.
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's still just a little bit sad.
Yeah.
But check out this cool knife I got. Got it on Amazon.
Got it on Amazon.
Yeah, flip that thing.
Nice.
It's got the spring loaded.
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of cheap. It was $20. Oh yeah, that's the flint. That's flint.
Okay.
It's a fire start. This thing just fell off of it.
As soon as you're like, it's kind of cheap, and just like fell apart in my hand.
You're being too rough with it. You broke it, dude.
I like that it's like beefy.
Yeah, open it up and then like grip it.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah, now grip it like you were gonna stab somebody, like straight down. It's got that thing. My biggest worry with knives is like if I have to stab somebody, my hand is gonna slip into the blade.
Yeah.
That has like a little protector that prevents that.
That'd be a good stabbing knife.
It's a perfect stabbing knife. You can stab them and then set them on fire with the flint.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I went on like an Amazon shopping spree that I should not.
Didn't we just talk about this last episode?
This was before.
Oh, okay.
This was before. This is the result of that shopping spree.
Okay.
This came in last week. I got like a whole new pair of clothes, like shoes, like toe to tip. I got a brand new set of clothes, shoes, pants, shirt. I wore it all Sunday.
Yeah.
I think I look pretty great.
Yeah.
But this knife as well. And then they came in today. I got Beckham Hotel Collection gel pillows. They're like the pillows that you would find at a hotel, like the big thick guys, because mine were getting too worn out and thin. So I was like, 2 a.m, this pillow that I'm on while I'm searching Amazon is just too thin. Oh, look, here's one right here.
Gotta get those nice pillows.
Don't make fun of me. I knew you were going to do it.
But you...
I did it anyway.
I'm
going to strike this flint in here. Hopefully it doesn't set your...
This is where, if we were live streaming this...
Oh, this would be great.
Yeah.
I was just talking with my buddy about that today, too. I think we should look into that.
We should.
I think we should.
I think we just need a few pieces of equipment.
Yeah. And we'd be good to go.
Yeah. The only thing that I've been thinking about is like what angles to set up, because
I think we do, if we can, we do one right there looking at the both of us, and then one over my shoulder, one over your shoulder.
But then like who controls the angles?
Yeah. That's the thing.
We need an intern.
We need an intern. I got...
Mandy's in the business of interning.
Mandy's in the business of interning, yeah.
Can't pay you.
We could.
Could we?
With exposure.
Exposure.
That was the worst thing when I worked in a recording studio. I can't pay you, but I can pay you with exposure, which is even better.
That's what...
No, it's not. Money is better.
Right. Playing in a band, like they're like, yeah, we're can't pay you, but we're going to bring in so many people who are going to pay us to come in.
Yeah.
But think of all the exposure you're going to get.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a beneficial relationship
No.
here, guy. I'm going to strike this
All
one.
right, we're striking the flint.
Yep, ready?
Yep. Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
You're going to light my carpet on fire.
Look at the smoke that came off of that thing.
That is actually pretty solid.
Yeah, like I could definitely start a fire with that.
Yeah.
I can still see smoke.
Our fire alarms are super sensitive, but I just realized that.
That one's not even in here.
Yeah. The battery died.
Yeah.
I kid you not. So our house is like, it's smaller. Like it's not super small, but it's smaller.
Yeah.
And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 smoke detectors on the first floor.
It's way too many.
Yeah. And so one started chirping.
Mm-hmm.
I had the hardest time tracking down which one it was because like in the hallway, it sounds like it's coming from somewhere else.
Don't also in the kitchen you have like a radon and a smoke detector like right next to each other?
Carbon monoxide.
But they're like right next to each
Yes. Yeah.
other. Oh boy.
Yeah. Which like,
are they all connected too?
yeah.
So like if that smoke detector in here starts going off, the rest of the house will
Yes.
off as well. That's how my old house was.
The only thing like, it's really annoying like if you set it off like cooking.
Yeah.
But what's nice is if you hit the silent on one, it turns off all of them.
Right.
So you don't have to like run around hitting them.
Right.
But so this battery died and I just took it out instead of
Gotcha.
replacing it.
Mine, for some reason, they wouldn't like alarm, you know?
Mhm.
They would just like maybe once every minute go eep. And then be like 30 seconds to a minute of silence and then eep.
Like when the battery's dying?
No, when you set them off.
Oh, well, that's not good.
Yeah, they sucked. But my ex-roommate set them off one time while I was sleeping during the day when I was working third shift. And it just like I was awoken from, I never slept deeply at all. And I was just awoken by it, beep. And like the first time, like kind of fall back to sleep again, you know? And
Yeah.
then beep, and wakes me back up. And then I'm just laying there like, is he going to shut it off? Is he going to do anything about this? And then like 5 minutes, I'm laying in bed and he's not doing anything about it. So I like get out of bed. I get out of my room. He's like, sorry, I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, so you just gave up?
This is my life now.
So literally I just got a chair and hit the silent or the reset button.
It's not that. Like, it's kind of
not-
common sense.
It's not hard at all.
No. Didn't you guys like have fights about that though? Or no, it was bacon smell.
Yeah, because I would
Yeah.
cook bacon with the windows closed and it would just cause a huge
Smell
cloud.
of bacon.
But it was like a cloud of bacon smoke in the house, which whatever. I mean, I understand how he could get upset about that.
Yeah.
Like if I were coming, I wouldn't really mind coming into that because I enjoy bacon.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't care. I can see how him being how he was would care about that.
Mm-hmm.
But he would just come in because he would come home from work at like 10 a.m. because he would take like he got a 15-minute and a half hour, and we lived like 2 minutes away from where we worked. We worked at the same place. And he would, on his 15, he would take that at like 10 or 10:30, and he would come home, and I'd be making bacon for my supper, just a whole pack of bacon. The house is smoking, and he'd come in and just rip open all the windows really angrily and not say anything.
You guys had a really good relationship.
We had a tremendous relationship. Still going strong today.
Best friend I ever had. We still never talk sometimes.
You pulled open your phone here. Do you got something for us?
It was just a shout out. New listener.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who?
Jordan Engel.
Who's that?
So she is actually from my kind of hometown back in Indiana. That's our same church. And
is she your ex-girlfriend that stole all your Speedy Rewards points?
No.
Okay.
No, that was from college.
Okay.
No.
All right.
She was, I think, my younger sister's age.
Okay.
But, our other friend Corey introduced her to our podcast.
Oh.
So she sent me a message the other day saying that I have to tell you that Corey recommended your podcast to me, and I've listened to it almost nonstop since.
Ah, nice.
I said, awesome. And then I said, I'm glad I said, it's pretty much a podcast about nothing, but I'm glad you're enjoying it.
It's the Seinfeld podcast.
And she said, it truly is the Seinfeld of podcast.
Yeah.
So, shout out.
Maybe we had a spike the other day. We had 80 listeners in a day, or 80 downloads in a day, which is a lot for us.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Was it on a release day or?
Actually, we had a spike on the release day of like, I think 40.
Okay.
And the day after was like 15, and then it was like 80. But I looked at, because you can look at the stats of like what's being listened to, and it was like maybe 30 for the one that we had just uploaded, and then like one for like all of our back catalog.
Yeah, it's probably her then.
It's probably her just listening to all of them.
She really powered through some real stinkers.
Right. That's true. That is very true. We had some crap episodes.
We need to decide at what point do we recommend starting.
Oh, I say,
because I don't say start at the beginning.
I always say just start at the most recent one, because I feel like we just get better and better. Actually, I think whenever I recommend from the cult episode on.
Okay.
I think is when we really hit our stride.
Yeah. Was your pants episode before or after that?
That was before that.
Okay.
Because we did the cult one in here. We did the pants episode at your old place.
Oh, wow. It's been that long.
Yeah. Yeah. Those were the third shift days, man. I just watched the episode with Emily of Brooklyn Nine-Nine when they get put on the night shift.
Yeah.
And I just relate with that so hard. How your life just becomes miserable and sucks.
Yep.
And what's his face? The dude that was on night shift before, whose life was just horrible, he got put on day shift, and his life just became amazing, like instantly better.
I don't remember his name.
Yeah, it's something weird. Anyway, also another shout out we have. Did you see our email?
No, my email stopped syncing to my phone, so I haven't gotten anything.
Okay. Well, it's from Abby Deacon.
Abby D.
Abby D from camp. She is a friend of ours. I've known her for a while. She's gone to the same church that we used to go to, Ripley, and she did camp with us. She was our co-group leader.
Co is an embellishment.
She mentions that in the email. Should I just read the email?
Let's just read it.
It's super long. It's
my goodness, she really went into detail.
Yeah. So, from Abby Deacon. Uh-oh. Shit. Oh. Sorry, I got a text. I'm going trap shooting tomorrow. One of my last things of freedom. And then I'm going to go, actually, probably middle of July, I'm going skydiving.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You want to go?
Nope.
Figured not. All right. So, from Abby Deacon, she says, "Hey, friends, congratulations, Jordan, on the new job.
Thanks.
And Donnie on the engagement. Thank you. This is super exciting for you both. I don't know if you're still doing your What Would You Do segments on the podcast, but I have a story for you if you are interested."
I am.
Backstory. You're living in a foreign country that up to a year ago you didn't know existed. You've been living there for about 2.5 to almost 3 months, and you and your friends go out for a birthday celebration. During this birthday celebration, everyone gets drunk except you. You are the only sober one. At 1 in the morning, you decide to go home. So you and your drunk friend who has been in this country/city longer decide to start walking to the bus station, which we're not actually running, but we didn't know this at that point. They didn't know that at this point.
Buses are not running.
Yeah, They go to the bus station. They didn't know that the buses were not running anymore because it's 1 in the morning. Yeah. Both your phones are dead, and you do not know the emergency contact number in this country. You come to a crossroad. You, being 100% sober but not completely confident, says to go right. Your drunk friend, who knows the city better but is drunk, says left. You stand and argue about it for a few minutes when 2 native guys walk up, and your drunk friend asks the guys for directions, and they say, "We're walking to our car now. We can just give you a ride home." What do? Do you get in the car with the 2 strangers? Do you take your chances on your not-so-confident directions? What do? I know this would probably be a completely different situation for you 2 guys, but I'm just curious. We did end up following the guys to their car and letting them take us home. Definitely.
Sorry, real quick. As you were reading it, I was like, this isn't a made-up story. This happened. Yeah. Too much detail.
And 100% sober. Come on now. We did end up following the guys to their car and letting them take us home. Definitely not my finest moment. However, the country that I'm living in is very safe. People are very friendly and they really love Americans. So that contributed to the decision as well. They were very kind gentlemen who dropped us off and let us be, but something I will not be doing again. I love listening to your podcast, even from across the ocean, and thanks for the many laughs, weird looks I get on public transportation for laughing out loud and for brightening my days. That's the biggest compliment we can get is we put you in an uncomfortable situation for laughing out loud. While you guys were very frustrating that first year of camp, it was still awesome and definitely full of great memories. I look forward to seeing you both at camp again this year. See you in a few weeks. You're my friend and I trust you, Abby Deacon. Yeah. Unfortunately, Abby, we will not be going to camp this year.
It's my fault.
Pudge has ruined everything.
Yeah.
He has gotten this new job and can't take time off because it's like within the first month of him starting.
Right.
But
we might drop by and say hi.
We will not. Don't lie. Don't put hope where there is no hope. I wouldn't want to do that either. I'm too bummed about not being able to go this year.
Yeah.
Just going for like an hour or 2 would be way too much of a bummer for me.
So did you just not have the option of going at that point? Or?
Me?
Yeah.
He had already asked his friend to do worship and then got Dylan from Ripley to drum for him.
Dylan, you're the worst.
He's actually, I'm stoked for him. I talked to him because I went to Ripley a couple Sundays ago. He's super stoked to go to camp and drum. Yeah. So
we're getting older.
I know
we hand it off.
Yeah. I'm sad that it's over. I'm going to miss camp so much.
Never say never, man.
I think that we might be able to go back maybe next year or the year after. We might be able to pull it off. Mm-hmm. But, it's tremendously sad, but at the same time, I'm happy that Dylan is the one taking over. It feels like because I used to give him drum lessons and I don't know how much I helped him, but because I maybe did like 5 drum lessons with him, but he got very good just on his own, just by practicing. So it's fitting to pass the torch off to him, but still very sad.
Yeah.
But in response to, we'll go back and we'll do the what do you do in a second, but I just want to say my response because I thought it was pretty clever and funny. But Abby, your email is being processed and you should be hearing back from us in 7 to 24 business days. We here at You're My Friend and I Trust You. Thank you for reaching out. It means a lot to know that people listen and enjoy our nonsense. Peace be with you. Great hug, Donnie Moretti, co-CEO and co-captain, You're My Friend and I Trust You, International Worldwide Industries and Resorts.
I like the title.
All right, so Pudge, what do? You're in a foreign country, which, by the way, Abby, can you write us in again? What country are you in right now? I feel like every time I talk to you, you're in a different part of the world doing something different. So
let us know.
Yeah. So you're in a different country, foreign country, but they're nice to Americans. They like Americans. You are, we'll say you're semi-tipsy. Definitely not 100% sober.
Right.
Semi-tipsy with your drunk friend.
Yeah.
Come to a crossroads. Which way do you go? You don't know how to get back home.
I think I'm going. The drunk friend said left. I said right.
But then two guys walk up.
Two guys. I think I'm going left.
You're not taking the ride from the two guys?
No.
Me neither, man. That's a sketch.
Yeah.
I don't care what country you're in. I don't even care if it's America.
No. I'm not taking a ride in America. Especially, like she said, especially if I was a female.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is different.
I wouldn't do it as a male.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. In a foreign country, I think I say left because there's still an adventure side of that where we're not really sure this person's drunk. They think it's this way.
Right.
But they're still we could still get into something. Yeah. But it's not getting in a car that now I have no control over where I'm going.
Right. I would say that is a fun situation up until the point where the two guys get involved.
Yeah.
I would say that's a situation that I would love to find myself in. I'm kind of lost, don't know how to get home. It's 1 a.m. and we kind of have to figure it out. Mm-hmm. I enjoy that. I would enjoy that. I would not, however, like to deal with that situation of the guys.
Yeah.
Because what if you say no?
Right. True.
And they start, I don't know, pulling out the chloroform or whatever. Who knows what they have? That's what I'm worried about. Mm-hmm. I'm in the backseat of the car and they just turn around and stun gun.
Right. Which is kind of what I was alluding to. Like
a dart.
Yeah.
A knockout dart.
If I'm walking, even if I'm not sure where I'm going, I'm still in control of what I'm doing.
Right.
If you're in a backseat of a car,
you're not in control of that situation.
You're going wherever the car's going.
That's what freaks me out about Uber, man. Mm-hmm. Uber and Lyft.
Yeah.
I just really don't know about that. We did, Emily and I were in Nashville when we were bringing her back up from her internship. And our hotel was kind of a 25-minute walk to Nashville, downtown Nashville. There was actually a walking bridge that went over a river that we ended up walking back across to get back to our hotel. But we found out that in the morning, there is actually kind of all day, there's a shuttle that takes you from the hotel to a certain spot in downtown Nashville. And it cycles every hour or so. You can hop on this shuttle and either come back to the hotel or go from the hotel out to the city. And we rode out there, and even being in that shuttle, it's from the hotel. It's obviously somebody working at the hotel. We're in the thing with just a whole bunch of other tourists. I did not like being in that situation.
Yeah.
Of I have no control here.
Drive me off a bridge. I don't know.
We could create maybe an uprising of tourists to take over the driver, but not 100% likely it's going to work. And plus, how many lives will be lost in the uprising?
True.
They were all foreign too. Now, I'm saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm saying that's a cool thing. They were all European.
Yeah.
One was Scottish. I love Scottish accents. So me and Emily are just kind of sitting there in the 10-minute ride, just being quiet and listening in on these people talking.
Yeah.
Because it's cool to hear foreigners talk.
It's really interesting to hear, just kind of eavesdrop on those situations and hear their observations.
Yeah.
We, I don't remember if it was me and Allie or me and my brother were at an Indians game last year. And we were up in the upper deck, and this group, probably, I would say college age, came up, and there's probably 8 of them, mixed of guys and girls. And they sat down, and you could tell they were Australian. And they were trying to figure out the game of baseball. And
I would love that.
Yeah, it was awesome. Just sit there and listen to them kind of theorize of why they're doing something.
Yeah.
And sometimes they figured it out, and other times they just, I don't know why they're doing this. And
I love Australian accents.
Yeah, and the accents were cool. And through the course of their conversation, found out, they were college students who were on their summer or whatever, and they were there for 3 months, going through different cities, just touring the U.S.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think even as socially anxious as I am and all my social anxieties, I would have turned around and been hey, do you want me to explain this mystical game that's before you right now? because I think that would have been a ton of fun.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's a YouTube channel that I watch called How Ridiculous. And it's literally they just have different like large objects or whatever that they drop off of this big tower and crush things. Like they have like people that like build them stuff. Like somebody built them like a 300-pound Thor's hammer that looks like a replica of Thor's hammer, and they've dropped that on like a piano and stuff.
Man.
So it's kind of cool to
Yeah.
watch. It's like definitely like a kids like sort of channel thing, but I enjoy it primarily because they all like there's 3 dudes and they all have Australian accents because they're from Australia.
Makes
And
sense.
that's like the main pull for me to that channel is just to hear them talk with their Australian accents and then like throw in like the Australian words.
Yeah.
Like, what in the world does that even mean? But the people that were in the bus with us, the tourists, I was surprised to hear them say how much they were enjoying, because it was kind of a similar thing, like where they were on like, because I think Europeans get longer vacations than we do. So they were here for like 2 months going around from different city to different city, and they just happened to meet like these 2 different groups, like this one couple from Ireland and this one group from probably Britain, it sounded like, or England or what, I don't know. I'm ignorant. But they like met up at the hotel and were just talking and hanging out, decided to go to the city together. And you could hear them talking about like what cities they'd been to and how much they enjoyed it and like what part of the city, where I thought just everybody hated us. Everybody that's not an American just hated us.
Well, that's what is funny. Like, I think it was my brother kind of made this observation. I think it was back during the election. You know, like how everyone swore we were going to go to war with Russia. And yet you get on like different, like Reddit or different forums, and you can actually speak to actual people from these countries. It's like, no, we don't want this. It's just the political leaders causing all of this. Like, we don't want to go to war with you. We have no problem with you. But our leaders can't get along. And
so it doesn't matter if we're getting along with them or not. Like if there's another Pudge and another Donnie in Russia, like our Russian counterparts, it doesn't matter if we don't want to go to war. What matters is our governments hating each other because they're the ones that instigate it.
Exactly.
They're the move makers.
Yeah. And it's like, no one really wants this probably.
Yeah.
Unless it's kind of like an indoctrinated nation. But there's few and far between there. But.
Which that's the crazy thing about war is like you think about World War II and we're fighting Germans, and there was propaganda on both sides, but basically it's like Germans as a whole are evil, Nazis, Krauts, gotta kill them, gotta take them down. And then I know that it went the other way too. Americans are evil, they want to do whatever, we gotta take them down.
Yeah.
So, but then you meet in the middle, and it's just, I'm a dude, you're a dude. We just happen to be for different countries that are warring at the moment.
It's like the
Saving Private Ryan.
Well, no, there was a what was it called? Oh, like basically a 1-day treaty.
Oh, the Treaty of Paris, was it?
I don't know. It's where
the Christmas Day.
Yeah, where they got together and had Christmas, and then
playing like soccer and stuff.
Yeah, and then the next day they're shooting at each other, trying to kill each other.
Yeah,
which is just like that, and it's hard to comprehend the emotions that they had to feel. You know,
and how those emotions were just not dealt with.
Yeah,
like shell shock was cowardice, PTSD was cowardice, but it was just like serious like mental health issues that just were not being addressed at all.
Right. Just toughen up and get through it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could be fighting against a whole group of people and then take a day to just hang out with them.
No, it's like to effectively, I think, be a frontline soldier, like you have to dehumanize your enemy. And to get together on a Christmas day and play soccer, that's the most human thing ever.
Community.
Yeah. And so then I have to flip that back off.
Yeah.
And look at you as not human. You're just the enemy.
Right.
And like, I have to kill you.
Do you think, because at times combat got pretty close, like hand to hand. like trenches being overtaken and stuff. Do you think that there was a moment where somebody had like met somebody from the other side the day before and then ended up killing that person or seeing that person dead?
Oh, I'm sure it had to have
Can you
happened.
imagine what that would have done to you?
No kidding. I just played soccer with this guy.
Right.
Nah, I killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, yeah.
Luckily, I think the next war will not be fought like that.
No.
It won't be mass like armies just going.
There's too much
Technology.
and
Mm-hmm.
hey, if it ever gets to that scale, it's not going to last long anyway.
No, it's going to resort to nukes pretty quick, I think.
Yeah. So, but anywho, going back to your point real quick before I forget, how you were saying how Europeans have more vacation or holiday.
Yeah.
That was one thing. My brother-in-law is German, and I remember he was so blown away, like when he got his first job over here, that you were lucky if you got a week vacation to start.
Yeah.
He was like,
it's crazy.
yeah. And then to get a month, he's like, that's standard in Germany.
Yeah.
Like you start out with a month vacation.
Mm-hmm.
But here, if you have a month vacation, you've worked somewhere for probably 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
Like,
and even then you've probably, if you have a month, you've worked there for 15 to 20 years and you've also saved up vacation days.
Yeah.
Like not taking them years before to be able to get a month.
Yeah. So I do think that there's a shift in America with how the whole workplace is dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
And as our generation takes leadership spots, that it's going to shift because, I mean, there's studies that say like people who feel refreshed and taken care of are more productive in less time.
Mm-hmm.
And so they think the key to productivity is overtime. Like we just got to work more and we'll be productive. And really that actually kills it.
Right.
And my 2 jobs ago now, I mean, it was a prime example where we got stuck in a rut of working 6 days a week. I'd work 56, 60 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like we were just falling even more behind because people were just so tired. And I don't like, I'm always here. Why do I care?
Right.
And whereas had they like given us a chance, like, hey, we're going to get behind. We're going to give you, a normal week.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you the week after we would have been, or the week of, we would have been more productive because like, oh, they feel us, they understand, and I actually feel like I can be home and refresh.
I think too with the modern day business world, and like you see this trend of people being in a job for 5 years and then moving on to the next one and then moving on to the next one. I think a lot of that is chasing pay.
Oh yeah.
And like you see it a lot within the trucking industry because you get like a sign-on bonus of like a couple grand.
As long as you stay for X amount of years.
You stay, and then you go to the next place and get that big sign-on bonus and stay for however many years you're allowed or supposed to, then move on to the next. But I feel like when you have a company that values their employees, you'll see a trend of people staying at those companies.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And going back to your point about like people, a lot of the older employers, older bosses see that from our generation that we only stay for 5 years or whatever, and we're not loyal. And really it's just because they're not paying what they really should be. Not that like we deserve a ton of money right off the bat, but
at least give us a living wage.
Right, exactly.
I would say 15 is not a living wage anymore.
No,
like even around here where like rent is relatively cheap, still 15, like you can't support a family off 15.
Right, exactly. Or like the clear steps to gain more, I guess. I don't know. Because like it's like, well, we can hire someone new in for cheap, and since they're starting so low, I'm not going to have to pay them what I should be paying them in 5 years when they know everything and they do a good job. But since I started so low, now like, well, why would I jump you 10 grand a year?
Right.
Even though that's industry standard, like 10 grand a year is a heck of a pay raise.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm rambling.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's good for the podcast when
Ramble.
one of us gets rambling.
Yeah. Venting a little bit.
Yeah. But I found like this past month for me was my best earning month that I've ever had as a working professional. I think I said that the month before that too, but I had a better month this past month than I had the month before. But I didn't work full-time hours because I was like dead the first 2 weeks of this past month. And then like I accidentally double booked myself. Like I had a company contact me Sunday.
Do you not have your whiteboard set up?
I do, but I'm just an idiot and was like, hey, this company was like, hey, we have a rush project. Can you have it done by Thursday? I was like, yeah, if I push, I can have it done by Thursday. Then I got contacted like an hour later, like, hey, we have a project. Can you have it done by Wednesday? I was like, yeah, no problem. I was just struggling. And I worked like 3 13-hour days last week. But that with another project I made more than I ever have since graduating high school. But I didn't work 40 hours a week.
Right.
Every 4 weeks out of the month, you know? And for me and just like my free spirited sort of lifestyle that I try to lead, that fit really well. Being able to go do stuff. I had like a 2-hour lunch with a buddy of mine today. So being able to do stuff like that is really nice. But at the same time, it's just, I would like to just be able to work X amount of hours a week. Cause so I think I would like that structuredness of like what is expected in the corporate world, you know. But at least for now, I'm enjoying just like, hey, if I want to, I can do what I want.
Right.
As long as I meet my deadlines, it's all good.
Yeah.
But that can't last forever, so I'm just enjoying it while I can.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm trying to get work while I can, and I will not be double booking myself again with deadlines because that was just the worst. I was stressed. I was stressing. I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast, but another thing with that and like working from home is I would work like one of those 13-hour days and then be done and then just be like sitting like in the living room being like, I feel like I should be working right now. It's hard to shut off like I'm done working for the day because I'm working from home. My work is right there and I have more work that needs done. I should work till it's done. But then I'll be working for like 30 hours in a row.
Have we talked about, gosh, I wish I could remember the name of the article.
We have.
We have talked about that.
Burning the candle at both ends sort of article.
Is that what it was called?
I think so. Or there was a picture at least associated with that.
It talks a lot about like the millennial workforce and how it's really not. Because I remember thinking, I agree with most of this, maybe not all of it, but
I agreed with probably 95% of that article.
Yeah, about how the stereotype of millennials like isn't really accurate. And how we're
people assuming that we're lazy.
Right. When we're actually like overworking ourselves. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like I think one of the main points in that article was how we have a tendency to just let the little things kind of fall through the cracks.
Yes.
You know? Like, and like not do like the little stuff. But it's because I think, or at least the article says that it's because we prioritize and we have all the big stuff, all the essential stuff. And then there's all this little stuff that really doesn't matter and doesn't affect the end game or the end goal. So we just kind of let that fall through the cracks. So if it doesn't benefit us financially, like immediately, we're less likely to do that thing.
Yeah. Which makes sense. I should reread that.
Yeah, me too. It's a long read, but it's a good read.
Yeah, it's very good. And then we can actually cite it properly.
Yeah.
Which we can't right now.
Yeah.
It's some article.
There's
somewhere
article
on the interwebs
about how millennials work and how we're not actually as lazy as you think.
Yeah.
I also saw a tweet that is so true after, and I'm sure you've realized this too, of entry-level position, 3 to 8 years of experience.
Right.
Must have a bachelor's, but master's preferred.
Yes.
Like, how do you expect for us to have all of this?
That's not entry level.
Yeah. And also something that wasn't in that tweet, but something that just came into my mind right now. Like, you used Indeed to job hunt. I as well used Indeed. And on Indeed, the company can put like how much they're going to pay you or like the projected salary. And it's like between 20 and 60K.
Right. It's like, obviously they're going to pay me 20.
Right.
I always hated that.
Yeah. I just always assumed it was whatever the lower one was.
Yep.
It was right there.
Yep.
Just trying to suck you in. Trying to get employees. Everybody's quitting. Maybe treat us better. Maybe give us a month's vacation.
We would probably be more productive, actually.
Yeah. I know, at least for me, I'm extremely productive when you just give me a task and say, do that task. If you're paying me, if it's a work thing. I know my dad, if he listens to this podcast, he would say there's been a to-do list sitting on the table for 2 years that's not done, which is true. He's given me a to-do list. I would say probably 80% of it is done, maybe 90. But there are things that have been on there for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
That I just haven't done.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like if it's my job, my employer, I'm willing to work those 13 or 14-hour days, whatever is needed. You know?
Quick tip to employers. If you can't afford to pay someone more, give them more vacation.
Yeah.
Doesn't have
to be paid.
Well, I'm saying paid vacation.
Oh, okay.
Because like you're going to pay me a year anyway. That's in your budget.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so if you can, like, there's probably jobs that I would take less starting out, but if you gave me more vacation time up front, because for you, I mean, yeah, it might be a week of a little bit of a hassle covering what I do, but if I was an employer, if I could get someone really good and the potential for them to work really well, just give them extra vacation time, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Or like, I was reading an article, this was more so church staffing, but they were talking about like, if you know you're I'm hiring, say I own whatever company. I hire somebody from Colorado, guy and his wife. So they're coming to Ohio, to Colorado.
Yeah.
One easy benefit, I'll buy a plane ticket for both of you one time, or like a round trip once a year so you can go home.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Easy benefits like that.
Oh, yeah.
They're like in the long run.
Personalized benefits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think those things will become more popular as the shift in leadership take over.
I also really hate companies that project themselves as like a family company. Like we care about our employees like we're a big family here. Those to me are the companies that are least like a family. Like a company that I used to work for that will rename nameless, but it rhymes with P. Graham Hun.
The Huns?
Yeah. I mean, they were pretty good to their employees. They had like carry-in lunches every Friday or whatever. But maybe it was because I worked third shift. It just felt like we got crapped on just all the time. And like nothing, like if we had a concern or a problem and we tried to talk to upper management about it, we were just always shoved off. So I don't know. That was probably just a third shift thing. I might have had a different experience if I was on first.
Yeah.
But also another thing too that popped into my mind talking about this job stuff. And going back to my question about if you were like kind of struggling for stuff to do in your off months. Another article I read said that some like 60 to 70% of people that work in offices get their work done by Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday they're just trying to look busy. Because if you're salary or even if you're hourly, but just trying to look busy to make it seem like you're working if the bosses walk by.
Right.
But you've gotten all your stuff done.
Yeah.
Because that's your workload and you were just able to do it.
Right. And like sometimes knowing that if I get everything done real quick and do it well,
Mm-hmm.
do it to completion, like knowing that at the end of the week, it'll be a little lighter.
Mm-hmm.
I can enjoy that a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of goes back to like the required hours, I guess, of, it's almost like I'm rewarding myself.
Right.
And so I'm going to be more productive
Yeah.
when companies could do the same thing.
Right. It also just how I work and how I'm wired is I'll get a project and I'll just burn and get it done. Versus I've never been that type of person to like milk something out.
Right.
Working thirds at P. Graham. It was like, let's just run out the clock as much as we can. This is just a run out the clock situation. We're going to just drag this out, spread it out. I'm like, I really hate doing this. Like, I know, because I didn't really have a supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of the dude that was my quote unquote supervisor. He had just been there longer because we had a skeleton crew. It was like 5 guys. Yeah. He was the dude that was like, let's just stretch this out. And then everybody else was already there in that same mindset, wanting to do that anyway. But I was like, no, I want to see how much I can get done. I want to work. I really hate just standing around and doing nothing. And I hate being lazy on company time.
Right.
Like if a company's paying me,
yeah,
I'm here to work. I'm not here to chit chat with you and goof off. Yeah. Except for when I was doing my push-ups. Remember when I was doing those push-ups? Because I was working at the saw.
Yeah, I do remember you telling me, yeah.
I did like 300 push-ups in a day. And then I ruined my shoulders.
Donnie is such an old man.
I got a bad body, dude. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
That's all.
No. Yeah. All right. Wrap it up?
Let's wrap it up.
All right. No edits again. We've been
Look at
really
us.
good with not having edits.
Yeah.
Just whenever I curse or whenever you have a secret that you need to share that you can't tell.
Secrets. That came out of nowhere when I was listening to it. I was like, I love this.
I think at least 3 or 4 people said that they liked that.
Really?
Yeah. It was just random. I threw it in the last episode too.
Did you? I didn't. Usually I don't listen to these episodes.
It real sly. Like I didn't do like a cut like I did the first time. It was like you said, like, yeah, I can't really say that, but I'll tell you off podcast. I like snuck it in the background as you were talking. Secrets. I believe it's your turn.
It is my turn.
All right. Well, everybody, we want to thank you so much for listening to the You're My Friend and I Trust You podcast. I just want to say right at the beginning of this, I'll make this part short and sweet, that in exactly 1 week, actually, you have 1 week, listeners, to donate to the You're My Friend and I Trust You 5K for Compassion. If Pudge and I raise $500 for this charity, Compassion International, of which all $500, 100% of that will go to the charity, we will run in a 5K. All of you that donate, we're going to write your names on our shoes, and then we will give each one of those shoes to 4 random listeners. If you're into sweaty shoes with random names on it, might not even have your name on it, we will do that. Actually, we'll send you the shoe with your name on it. But you have 1 week. 1 week to donate. I think we're at like $175. We need $425 to run a 5K. And then we're shutting it down. And we will have been massive failures. Do you want that for us? I don't think so. But thank you so much for listening. Oh my God. Why do I tune into what you're playing? Because it makes me laugh. But thank you so much for listening, listeners. We really appreciate it. You can find us on Twitter at myfriendpodcast at Gmail, or not at Gmail, at twitter.com. You can write us into Gmail just like Abby Deacon did. Shout out to Abby Deeks. Abby D. Shout out to her. Hopefully see you soon. Sorry it won't be at camp. Hope you're doing well in whatever foreign country you're in. But you can write us in at itrustyoupodcast@gmail.com and we will read it on the show. I think it's about it. Listen to us on Back Row Radio, on the Back Row Radio app. It's a pretty dope Christian radio station. They're getting a lot more hardcore music on there recently, and that suits my fancy pretty darn well. So thank you, listeners, for listening. Like, subscribe, and comment wherever you listen to podcasts. We love you, and stay happy, healthy, and thanks for listening.
Just two dudes having a conversation. You're my friend and I trust you.